Hey, Robin, how's everything going?
Everything is amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm really bummed about our conversations. We had, I think, 4 or 5 conversations already, and I was like,
Yeah,
let's do another one. I said it before. I think you're a great speaker. You're a great host. You're great, just like a guy that I can have a conversation with, and that's why I feel like we could do this almost every day.
absolutely. I think you have a lot of fans who love your daily posts, your daily podcasts. I think they absolutely love them because they're so valuable, right? And they're just people posting content, or sorry, people having conversations, talking about things that are valuable. In this one, it's a little bit different. This is a live session, so we're just talking about anything really. And I was thinking about a topic to talk about. The topic that I wanted to talk about was that people need to stop working so hard, right? Working hard will not get you anywhere if you're doing the wrong things, right? So let's say, for example, if you're working hard, you're working, you're doing everything you can, you're trying to build wealth, but you're saving in fiat currencies. How are you going to get anywhere, right? And it must be a little different for you as well. Just a tangent, a little different for you actually being able to give your insights because usually you're waiting and you're asking questions, you're getting people to say their things. So what are your thoughts on that? How do you get your money to work for you? How do you stop working so hard? Do you feel like you're working harder now versus when were you doing a job before?
I did a job before, and I definitely work a lot harder right now, but I feel like I'm working less. Like this
Yeah.
is this weird thing. I have a lot of interesting thoughts on that. Like the first thing is completely outside of money. I think we have to kind of define what's work. Because if you define work as just like pure hours, then it's like really hard because then the hardest working guy is probably some Chinese factory worker.
Yes.
But if we define work of by the result, then we have to say maybe Elon Musk is one of the hardest working people because he not only puts in a lot of hours, but also he has the results of like having a big companies and driving a lot of revenue. So I think we kind of have to redefine what even is hard work, like
Yeah.
what does this mean? If you put in 1 hour, or like let's say if you put in 10 hours of research, or maybe even like 50 hours of research, and you decide to switch from a US dollar standard or from a Canadian dollar standard to a Bitcoin standard, how much is that 10 hours worth? Like that's a lot of that's worth a lot of money. If you have like
Yeah.
$10,000 and you've put it 10 years ago into Bitcoin instead of keeping it in the Canadian dollars, I don't know the math of that, but I guess you have like 300,000, maybe 500,000, 400,000, something like that, instead of like just having the 10,000. It does not make sense to work hard if you don't know where you're going, and if the way is not good. And so it's not only like I also hate a little bit like, oh, work smart, not hard. Like why not both? Like
Yeah.
why don't you put a lot of work in and be very smart about it? Like that. I think that's like the the main thing for me.
Absolutely. I completely agree. That's one of the things, right? So people are working so hard. They're putting all their time, their energy, their effort into creating some kind of value. And then see the problem is that they're saving in something that's really worthless, right? And they're putting their wealth into it and they're getting screwed over at the end of the day. That's what it is, right? They're getting screwed over. The wealth that they're saving is getting taken away from them, and somebody else has full control over their life. They can't do anything about it. So my idea here is that every Satoshi you accumulate is like a soldier, right? And that
Mm.
soldier is working for you and it'll keep working for you for as long as you keep it. And your money is I've heard this phrase, money is a great servant, but it's the worst master, something along those lines, right? So if you're using it, so there are two, I guess there are people on two sides of the spectrum here. So on one side there are people who are slaves to money, and everything they do is to create more money, to get more money because they're living to work. On the other hand, on the other side, there's people who are working to live, meaning they work a little bit, they get value, and then they spend it on living, right? They can
Mm.
buy whatever they need to with the income that they're getting. And the people on one side of the spectrum are very happy, and the other people on the other side are they're not happy. I would say they're very unhappy, if anything, because they're slaves to money. The people who are forced to work a job just so they can survive, they're slaves to money, right? Because what are you going to do if you don't have money? What are you going to do? You have to find a way to make money. And for some people, it goes as far as having to sell their bodies to make money, right? And that's essentially what a labor job is too, right? When you're working in a factory, for example, you're working in construction, you're selling your body to make money, and you're getting something. Again, you're getting something. This is back to what we were saying before. You're getting something that can be printed while your life can't be printed.
And this is an interesting thing because people already have the option, like we already have the option. Even before Bitcoin, we could have saved like in real estate, in stocks, in gold, in all of those different things. But Bitcoin is for me a game changer because it will become the default. And this is the main thing, because mainstream will always do what mainstream is, because they will not by default adopt Bitcoin just because it's better. They will adopt Bitcoin if it is the default. and so I think this is the huge paradigm shift. What happens to the world if no longer just 10% of the elite have kind of this this Bitcoin purchasing power rising up with like ETFs or having assets or having real estate or having any of those? But what happens if the majority of people actually have a great asset that they can save in just by having Bitcoin as a default asset? So I think this is a huge shift. It's very interesting to think about that. I often describe Bitcoin as kind of a fork in the road of human civilization. There's like many forks in the road, like the printing press, the steam engine, the electronic telegraph, where society and civilization changed dramatically. I also think AI is one of those forks in the road, and Bitcoin a very fundamental one. And so I think with that, there will be a lot of changes, and there's this one quote in my mind is like, it will be way bigger than people think, but it will take longer than most people anticipate.
Yes, so that's so key. Wow. So why do you think AI is going to be another fork in the road? I guess people who understand it will be able to be more productive. They'll be able to do more things. Do you feel like that impact, the impact of that would be as big as Bitcoin? I personally don't. I think it'll lead to abundance, but I think Bitcoin will have a much bigger impact overall.
I also think so, because Bitcoin is how we save information, and AI is how we process information. And saving is so much more important, because we have to kind of save it not only to our future selves, but for generations, but also just to someone else. Like, we can transfer energy, we can save energy, we can do something with that. But I do think, because this is usually what I like to do when I talk with Bitcoiners, they are maybe less aware of AI. They're not paying as much attention to AI than Bitcoin. So like, if you're fully into Bitcoin, you consume Bitcoin every day, it might be just a good idea to also see what's going on with AI, because it does transform a lot of things. But you're totally right. Like, I think Bitcoin is what should I say, the bigger thing. If I had to pick one of those, I would pick Bitcoin. I mean, it's obvious. Like, I do a Bitcoin podcast, not an AI podcast, so it's kind of an obvious biased thing to say for me. But for me, it is just a Bitcoin, because this is like the superpower that we have. It's a social revolution that can't be dealt with. But you also probably do a lot of AI, right?
I honestly don't. So I prefer not to do AI, because, see, one of the things. Okay, so there are a couple of things that maybe I'm hurting myself by not using AI. But one of the reasons why I don't use AI, and give me your thoughts on this. One of the reasons why I don't use AI is that I feel like the creativity is almost like a muscle, right? If you refer to AI for creativity, then you're not going to be able to think for yourself. You're eventually just going to rely on AI, right? But then there's also the other side of things, where if you're creative and then you use AI to add to your creativity, then it helps. But I feel like it's not as rewarding. I feel like I don't feel as I don't feel as satisfied, right? When, let's say, for example, I'm trying to think of a title, and then I go to ChatGPT, say, hey, make this more this or that, right? And it's just like, I get it. AI will probably do really well at giving me a title for a video, but the thing is that it just feels like it's more fulfilling when it comes straight out of my brain.
It is. And I totally agree. I actually just watched a podcast like a few days ago from Diary of a CEO, where he kind of dove into what is the difference. They did a study of the human brain. They all got the same tasks. They have been writing some essays, and the one brain just used the human brain, nothing else. The another brain was his human brain plus Google searches, and then the other one had access to ChatGPT. And obviously, like this shouldn't be any surprises. They asked them about the very thing they wrote themselves, and the one that wrote it himself completely knew everything. Like he knew everything, and he could connect dots that other people couldn't connect. Then there was the second brain with Google. It was a little bit worse, but it was still like almost as good as without Google search. And then the AI brain was just completely off. Like it couldn't remember what it was writing, like not at all, because it was just outsourcing the job. And that's how I think about AI. You should use AI as an automation tool to do the things that you don't want to do, that do the things that is not creative. Because I think what really differentiates us from AI is doing the out-of-the-box thinking, being creative, and writing a title. This should always be a human touch. You can maybe use ChatGPT to like get some inspiration if you're like, oh, like how should I name this one? But the final title should be as much Rajat Soni as possible, because this is why people are here, and they are listening to you. So when people ask me like, oh, do you think the podcast will be 100% AI at one point? I don't think so, because the internet will be flooded with AI content, and the few humans in there will be extremely rare, and those will be basically the how should I say, those few humans will be the ones that are very valuable because they are rare. And so I just saw Joe is joining the chat. Hi Joe, how are you doing? And so I do think so. Humanity is like the human spirit is extremely important, but use AI to outsource things, like the automation kind of a thing. So you're using it not at all right now, or it's like for some small things?
I use it here and there. See, one of the issues that I have with my videos is that if I want to, okay, so the way that I record things, I don't use a script, right? So I just talk off the top of my head, and sometimes the things that I say don't really make any sense, so I have to edit them out, right? And I don't realize it until after, which is really funny to me. So let's say, for example, if I were to use AI, I think AI doesn't have that level of understanding of what's coming out of my mind to say that, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you saying this? Right. So I have to kind of listen to the videos myself, and I have to do it myself in order to make sure that it's being done right. Because I've used AI before. So I use this app for AI where it removes your, what does it remove? It removes your like repeated takes. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, for example, if I were to say something and then I say it wrong, and I do it again, I say it wrong, and I do it again, I say it wrong, and then do it again. The final one is the best one. What this AI would do is it'll get rid of the repeats, and it'll keep the best take, right? And sometimes the issue is that you're paying for something like this, and then it's not even doing its job. It's not doing it right. Because I watched the podcast, I listened to it after, and I'm like, it didn't even catch the best take. It deleted everything else, and then I didn't even catch the best take. So I have to go listen to those ones anyways. I need to do it again. And it's just really annoying. Maybe over time it'll get better. Like at this point, I've heard this quote. I heard somebody say this. AI is the worst that it'll ever be right now, right? Bitcoin is the worst that it'll ever be right now. It'll just get better. So over time, maybe let's say 10 years from now, maybe we could replace ourselves with AI, but will people really want to listen to that? Will people really want to participate in that?
Do you know about the Laffer curve?
No, I don't. I've heard of it before, but I haven't done any deep research on it.
So the Laffer curve basically says you have like if you make it with taxes, and this was the original thing, but you can apply it to other things. Wait, let me. I don't see yet something.
The
Yeah,
Laffer curve?
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
the tax rate and the tax revenue, exactly. It describes that one. And if you open that picture, the Laffer curve picture, exactly this one. So there is the tax rate and the tax revenue. Obviously, if you have zero tax rate, so like 0% tax, then the tax revenue will also be zero because you don't earn
right.
anything. And if you have 100% tax rate, you will also earn nothing because nobody will give you 100% of your money. And there is somewhere a perfect point where the tax rate is so high that it optimizes for the maximum tax revenue. Because after that Laffer point, which is the highest point in that curve, the tax revenue will actually drop off because people will just move out of the country and go to a lower tax country, or B, starting to cheat. And this tax rate is like there's many different fears. Like, is it 40%? Is it 35? Is it 45? But before 50, it starts to like no longer make sense for people because they're like, okay, I'm paying the state more than I'm paying myself. So like this is kind of the point of the Laffer curve. And I think something similar happens with AI, where if you don't use any AI, you're missing out. And if
Right.
you're using 100% AI, you're doing it too much because it's just like
Here to here.
you need somewhere a point where it's the optimal use of AI and human, the combination of it. And I think that's the magical point where AI and humans kind of like come together and make amazing things together. So that was just that's a Laffer curve, and it's usually not applied to AI, but I've heard that comparison once. I forgot who was it, but I found it so amazing because it's like, no AI is bad, but also just relying on AI is probably a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually a really great way to look at it. So I feel like it also works. So just let's go back to the topic of this video. I think what you said there was really important because the topic of this video is stop working so hard, get your money to work for you, get your Bitcoin to work for you. Basically, what you have to do is at some point, you have to work for money, right? You have to work hard. Like you have to work like a 9 to 5 or some kind of job where you're trading your time for money. But I think if you do, if that's all you do, if you don't focus on, let's say, building ways of making money that will provide you with value without you working, then you're going to be on this side of the curve, right? Because you're at 100% work and you're not getting the benefit of the I guess maybe that doesn't work really well because at some point your investments are going to probably sustain your lifestyle completely, right? And
Yeah, I think there's like a point where you will be just a retiree. Like
yeah,
if you've worked hard and you always reinvested, like at some point, you have so much money that you cannot really spend it. I mean, you can always spend it.
right.
Like there's always weird ways to throw money out of the thing. You can
Yeah.
just buy enough yachts and enough jets, and at some point the money's gone. But like on a reasonable assumption, there's like this 4% rule, which is interesting, maybe from the FIRE community. With Bitcoin, might be lower, might be higher, depending on how you look at it. But I like the idea. Because we always have to find comparisons how it makes sense for people to invest in Bitcoin. And I think this acquiring soldiers, acquiring like Satoshis to work for you, I think that's an amazing like mental model to think about. Hey, I get those like, I don't know, $1,000 or $500 a month extra that I don't need. I will acquire Satoshis with that. And you get a lot
Yeah.
of Satoshis for like $500 or like $1,000. If you do this every single month, you will be way quicker this retiree than you might actually think about.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's exactly it, right? So if you work hard, you can buy more Satoshis. But if you work hard and you don't buy Satoshis, and you're going to be working forever. If you do buy Satoshis, at some point you're going to be free. You're not going to have to worry about having to work for the rest of your life. And I think I think that's going to make a difference to a lot of people, right? Because right now, so many people are just working for money, right? And I think that's what differentiates the rich and the poor. The rich don't work for their money; they work for a result. right? They work to create. They create something. It's like I think entrepreneurs are on the path to becoming rich. Some of them aren't obviously rich, but like let's say for example, something that you do, the videos that you're creating, the videos that I'm creating, we're creating content that will literally create value forever. Like there's a video, I was looking at this one. So there's a video where I posted it over a year ago. In the last 7 days, it made $2 and I didn't have to do anything, right? I had to do nothing, right? That video is there. I put in maybe let's say an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours to make it. And now that investment of time is paying me forever, right? Well, let's say, for example, if I were to work a job instead, if I were to go get a part-time job at some fast food restaurant, get $15 an hour, and I don't, or even if I were to work, let's say, even a really great job, let's say I got a salary of $100,000 a year, every year that I give to that company, I'm not getting anything back out of that, right? I'm getting that $100,000, and then after that, I get nothing out of it. And this is something that really I started wrapping my head around this more recently, maybe over the last couple years. Before that, I was just thinking, oh, I'm gonna work forever. I'm gonna work forever. I'm gonna let my employer just fund my retirement. They're gonna give me a pension, and I'll be good. I'll be good to go. I don't have to worry about money. I'm just gonna give them my time, and then they'll give me my time back, right? But that's not how the world works. I feel like our generation. Are you Gen Z?
I'm actually Gen Z, yes.
Gen Z. Okay. So I think Gen Z, I'm millennial. So Gen Z and millennials, I think we're not going to get pensions. I think we can't rely on somebody else. We have to do them. We have to do the work ourselves. We have to get our money to work for us, because if we rely on other people, then we're going to be screwed, right? If we try to rely on the government, the pensions that we get, this is one of the reasons why CPI is just so, it's so evil, because they use CPI to increase your retirement benefits. But if CPI is too low, your retirement benefits don't go up as much and you can't sustain your lifestyle. That's broken.
And I don't know how it is in Canada. In Austria, it already started. And I predict it will start in every EU nation and probably also in America and Canada. But I don't know.
100%.
In Austria, this year, for the first time in how many decades it is, they increased the pension under the CPI. And the CPI, you have to hear this, the CPI is 2.7%. It's like
Wow.
it's very, very far away from the real inflation.
Yes.
And they are increasing the pensions this year. Under this, they increased it, I think, 2%. And so it already started. And I'm like, oh, I'm not 27. Till I get a pension. I mean, I anyways like am entrepreneurial, like I have a whole different thing. But if I would work normally now, if I get a pension, like till I get a pension, it takes so long. I will never get anything. And I probably get something, but it's not worth anything. I cannot buy anything from that.
Yeah.
So when I think about pension system not working out, I do think the pension system will probably be around when I'm old. But I don't think it will sustain my lifestyle. I think it will be just normal that you get a small pension from the state, but you actually 80%, 90%, everything of that, you actually have to provide for yourself, because it just doesn't buy you anything anymore.
Yeah, it'll buy like a week of groceries.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, like, so I have a hard time believing that they're actually just canceling the pension system, like just admitting they're wrong and saying like, oh, sorry, you paid in the pension all your life, but you're the first generation that doesn't get it. Like, I don't know how this will play out. And I'm curious if you have thoughts on this, if not getting a pension you're seeing with like no purchasing power, or like actually like they're just canceling the program.
I don't think they'll cancel the program, because I think a lot of people are going to push back, and there's probably going to be like riots and stuff if they do that. Because think about it, so if they cancel the program, all of the people who paid into it get screwed over, right? I think it would probably be more beneficial for them to keep it going, just keep it going, kick the can down the road, just keep giving people their pensions, because that way they have a very calm group of people who are getting screwed over, but they don't even realize it, right? But if you just cut it off, everybody's going to figure it out. Like, oh, it's much worse to see on the news that, oh, there's no more pension than it is to see that, oh, you're still getting a pension, because most people don't understand the financial system. They just blame the companies, right? It gives them a way to have a scapegoat. It gives them a way to say that, oh, it's corporate greed that's killing you. It's not our pension plan. We're not at fault for making your wealth decrease, and we're not at fault for promising you something that we can't actually deliver. So I think if they cancel it, it's much worse for them, because there will be riots. There will be people who push back. But if they just keep going, think about it, 99% of people still don't understand that fiat currency screw them.
And they can blame it on other people. There's probably, when we get the pension in 50, 60 years, they're like, oh, it's only because there's war in this country. Oh, the greedy corporation takes so much profits. That's why we have inflation. They can blame it on someone else that they cannot buy it. And this is already happening today in Austria. It's so funny for me, seeing that public debate kind of playing out. But I think it will just be everywhere. It's like, yeah, you cannot buy anything with the retirement. You need private retirement first.
Yeah, yeah. You need to rely on yourself to retire. Like, if you don't rely on yourself, if you don't get your money to work for you, you're going to be working for money literally forever. Like this, again, this goes back to, I like to say this thing where people are going to die on the Walmart floor. That's literally what's going to happen, because what they're going to do is they're going to be forced to work in their 80s, 90s until the day they die, because otherwise, what are they going to do? Live in the streets? I don't think most people want to do that.
And that's the kind of matrix comparison, you know, like you're at that point, you're just a human battery. Like you're nothing but a human battery.
That's exactly, wow. That's actually really, that's so important to understand. And most people can't wrap their heads around that. They don't see themselves as just a means to an end for wealthy people. They think that they're actually making a difference in the world. Wealthy people don't think of it that way. Wealthy people just see us as, they see us as commodities, right? We're commodities. We're like machines that are working for them. We're machines because they get to create money out of thin air, and then they get to pay us with it.
I like to look at the world as on chess, and it's interesting because if you think about who's the queen, who is the king on the chessboard, and most people are like, oh, like for example, Michael Saylor, he is like a king, and I'm like, no, he's a pawn. Yeah. We are not even on the chessboard. Like Michael Saylor is so rich that at least he can play on it. We are just resources for the pawns. We are just like very small in the system. And the great thing with Bitcoin, I think, is that this game changes. As I said in the very beginning, that the main power that Bitcoin actually, we are cows. I love that from Joe. And so the main thing I think that will actually happen with Bitcoin is that this whole game will be so changed that this whole thing will flip around, where everyone can actually benefit from that. That the small game that like only like a small percentage of people actually play.
Yeah. Have you considered that inflation is basically just it helps people? So I wanted to make a video on this. I wanted to really go deep into this. I feel like inflation is it's supported by the elite, and they don't like deflation because it's.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you muted?
I was going to say it stops us from being cows. It stops us from having to work to make a living.
It is so like it's interesting because we are very quick to assume that something is evil, and like once like there's like a small group of people that kind of wants to control us, and like everything is very evil, and I'm trying to not go there because I just don't know, like maybe but what I definitely know is that when we have inflation, and as McDuck Bands also said it, when we have inflation, it's basically a conversion of money. So we have the people that have that save in the US dollar. Let's take this example, or the Canadian dollar. They save in the dollar. Those people lose with inflation every day. To who they are losing things? They're losing to the people that have assets. Also, by the way, to Bitcoiners. So in a way, everyone that has an asset benefits from people saving in an inflationary currency, because this drives our prices up, this drives our purchasing power up, and everything. So this is why inflation is theft like 100% because it drives monetary energy from someone to someone else. And who benefits the most from it? The ones that make that money completely for free. It's like they don't have to do anything for it. We as Bitcoiners, we at least have to put energy into Bitcoin to get the Bitcoin in the first place. They just print it. I like that. There's like statistics how much the actual dollar notes and like the digital entries actually cost. It's like nothing. Like they print it out of thin air.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things, right? When they had to print dollar notes, they would cost 10 cents each, right? So when they printed $100 bills, it would cost 10 cents, right? So that's like a base cost for how much. Like that's like let's say that's a base value that the currency has to have, right? At 10 cents. I mean, of course, that's still a massive profit, but 10 cents is still a cost. So they have to think about, this is what it's going to cost us to create more. But with digital money, there's no cost, right? With digital fiat, there's absolutely no cost, because all it is literally an entry in a database, and anybody can, well, not anybody, but banks can create it. The wealthy can go to the bank and they can get them to create more of those entries, and we work for it, right? It's like what Jor said here: from sovereign individual, the state has grown used to treating taxpayers as a farmer treats his cow, keeping them in a field to be milked. Soon the cows will have wings, and they'll leave the farm, because that's what Bitcoin does. Without Bitcoin, that's not even possible. How would you have done that without Bitcoin? Let's say if you save in gold, how are you going to carry your gold around the world? If you have $100 million worth of gold, how are you going to go from one country to another? You have to take a plane, right? If you take a private plane, maybe in that case you can move it around, but even then, I'm sure you're subject to laws, you're subject to moving wealth from one place to another, right? All that still applies to you. But with Bitcoin, it's just 12 words, 24 words. That's exactly what this is, right? So soon the cows will have wings, and that's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin gives us those wings, and we no longer have to be cows, and we no longer have to be relying on our masters to allow us to build wealth.
And there's one interesting thing. I don't know if you know, but I co-founded a small company called MicroSeed in America, and there's a lot of and we accept Bitcoin and we accept fiat. And because we accept fiat, there's a lot of headaches. There's a lot of headaches that we have to go through. And we had that thought experiment: what if we only accept Bitcoin? Like almost all of the headaches just go away. You just have a website, you have a payment provider through Bitcoin, and nothing else. Like everything else is just like you don't need anything else anymore, and there's no more borders. Now, because we have fiat, it's a huge mess, because I'm a European owner of an American company, and my stake is too high. And I was like, there's all those compliance rules and KYC rules that come in because there's just a foreign owner. And it's really interesting to look at that, because with this is only because of the fiat system, and not because of anything else. It's just about the card payments, and they acquire those different limits. And then I was thinking, okay, now with Bitcoin, you can literally just have a website, have a YouTube channel, have a Nostr, whatever you have, and just put a service or something online, and you can gain Bitcoin directly above that, and you're good to go. Like you don't need anything else. Like, and this is it's fascinating how freeing for me the Bitcoin lens is. And I really struggled with accepting Bitcoin as payments in this beginning. I was like, oh, it will be a headache, like all the accounting. Like I don't know if my tax consultant can even do that. And then I was like, I will just do it. Like I'm a Bitcoiner, I will accept Bitcoin. Now all my partners that I work with, they have to pay in Bitcoin. I no longer accept fiat. I accept from YouTube and like those things, fiat. But if I can, I only accept Bitcoin. And most of my income is in Bitcoin. And this is so great. And now if someone wants to pay me in fiat, not being in Austria, I'm like, it's such a headache. I have to provide you with all the information. It will take forever. It costs you. It costs me extra. Like, why can we not just do it 100% in Bitcoin?
Yeah, especially if you're watching a Bitcoin conversation, if you're advertising on a Bitcoin podcast, just pay. I think it makes sense to just pay in Bitcoin, right? Why would you otherwise? If we're not trying, see, that's the thing, right? With fiat, when people say no, I want to pay you in fiat, in a way, they're taking advantage of you, right? Because they're keeping their pristine collateral, and they don't want you to have it because that's truly valuable. Why would they want to give you true value? Why would they want to not give you fake money? If I can get away with giving somebody, so if I had a pile of counterfeit money and I had a pile of real money and I could get away with giving somebody that counterfeit money, why wouldn't I? Right? Because then I get to keep the real money. And that's exactly what's happening here. If they pay you in fiat, they're taking away your ability to save. Right. And they're keeping it for themselves. That's exactly what the system wants. The system wants people to rely on fiat so that the wealthy can keep all the assets for as long as possible. And that's exactly what this is. So with fiat, I was listening to the fiat standard. And there's a point where he says how fiat is basically a way to, I think he says in that book, or maybe it was something else where I listened to it. So he was saying how fiat is a way to keep assets with the wealthy and to keep the wealthy as possible for as long as possible, because they don't have to think about the opportunity cost. They don't have to think about the trade-offs of buying things. They just buy them, right? If somebody's paying you with fiat, they can go to the bank and they can take a loan, and that money can be created out of thin air, and they can give you that money and they can keep their Bitcoin at the same time. But when you get that fiat, you have to get rid of it ASAP, and you have the headache, exactly like what you said. You have the headache of getting it, first of all. Then you have the headache of trying to get rid of it because you know for a fact that's guaranteed to lose value over time. Why would you want to hold on to it? Right. And again, that goes back to stop working so hard, get your money to work for you. If you're getting paid in fiat, that's fine. Most people are still getting paid in fiat. Like, I'm talking to the audience. People are still getting paid in fiat. People are getting paid. So somebody said here, if you get paid weekly in fiat, you basically have nothing to worry about. I mean, I don't quite agree with that, because you have the worry of getting rid of that fiat, right? And at some point you won't be able to, right? At some point nobody will want fiat for their Bitcoin, and that's where the world is going. So if you continue to accept fiat, then at some point you will have to worry, unless, I mean, you're putting in the time to exchange that wealth into Bitcoin, because otherwise your fiat is just dying. It'll continue to die literally forever. It's guaranteed to lose value. And it's funny how people say that, oh, Bitcoin is the scam, when fiat is guaranteed to lose. It's guaranteed to keep falling in value for forever, all the time. It will continue to do that.
I think the same one also wrote, all the fiat I spend is already deemed worthless before I spend it. All the fiat I save in Bitcoin is acting as my store of value. And that's exactly it.
Yeah, very accurate. And then he said, I save in fiat and Bitcoin. Yeah, that's fine. I think you still need fiat, because you still need to earn, you still need to spend in fiat, because the world is denominated in fiat and you can't really get away from it. But you do need to get rid of your fiat ASAP. Oh, Nav asked her, oh, did you have any inputs on this, like on what I said?
I've maybe one input on the, like, having fiat. Like, even I was on the I went to 100% Bitcoin, and then I went to over 100% Bitcoin, basically in debt. And now I'm actually getting to have a steady position of like 95% of Bitcoin. This has something to do with like I have 3 freelancers working for me. Even if there's like a little bit of a worse month, I still want to pay them because they still work for me. Then there's the thing where I take financial responsibility for me and my girlfriend, not just for me. So I want to provide for myself and for her. And then I just want to like, there are certain realities in life where it made me go from like 100% to 95%. And yes, there's like this whole lending against the Bitcoin and all of that, but at some point you also have to pay it. And I currently don't want to deal with debt, and I don't want to deal with credit. It might be a bad financial decision, but I just don't want to do it right now.
It's annoying. I get you.
And so now I'm just like having like around 95 to like 98%. Like I've not calculated the exact one, but like just having a little fiat, so not having to sell it if I want to, because I don't want to be in the situation where I have to sell Bitcoin to cover like there's a lot of like 1% fee, 1% fee, 1% fee that eats away from you, and I want to have that kind of highlighted.
And you pay taxes on everything, even though the money has already been taxed. You still have to pay tax, right? You get money from your job, you pay taxes. Then you buy something, you pay taxes. Then the merchant pays taxes. Then whoever they're paying for raw materials is also paying taxes. So what's the actual value of the money that we're getting? Nearly nothing, because it's all going back to the government. It's all going back to where it came from. So what's really the point of having that money? Okay, so there was a really great question from Nav. Do you think that even highly skilled fiat earners are screwed too? What do you think here?
They are screwed if they save in fiat. They are not screwed if they save in Bitcoin. Like that's super. Like it depends on where you put the money. If you earn in fiat, that's fine. I mean, there's also this thing of if you have a fiat job, and I want to quickly define what a fiat job for me is. You have jobs and companies that are very close to the money printer. And there are highly skilled and highly paid people in there that get a lot of money just to keep up the system. And I think they will also be screwed. But if you say fiat earner in just like you're getting fiat, and it's not a fiat job per se, like it has a value in society and in the bigger community, you're actually providing value for someone else. This is not per se a fiat job. It's just like it happens to be paid in fiat, which I wouldn't call a fiat job. Then it depends on what are you doing with that money. And as you said before, earning, there was this comment you pulled up of like, I earn weekly in fiat, I don't have any worries. Yeah, you have one worry, like what to do with that fiat. And this should be in Bitcoin. And if you put it in Bitcoin, you will be fine, especially if you earn very good. You can put a lot in Bitcoin, and you probably don't even need to have that highly skilled fiat earner anymore.
Yeah, agreed. So I think I actually took this question a little bit differently from Nav. So maybe Nav, you can comment on what you think. So my perspective here is that he's asking if, let's say if you're highly skilled, will you survive on a Bitcoin standard?
I
think you will.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Like let's say, for example, you're a plumber. People are going to need plumbers no matter what, right? People are going to need electricians. Like, let's say, for example, if you're an educator, people are going to need educators no matter what.
Yeah, it's just about like, and this goes away kind of from Bitcoin. It's like, do you provide value for other people that other people will be willing to pay you? Like if you have a skill, if you have a value to give to other people that other people like so much that they pay you for it. For example, I have a hair cutter. I wait for him. He's like a Bitcoiner, and he's at the conferences. And like that's why my hair is so freaking long already, because I haven't been to a conference. So I wait for him to like cut my finger at the conference. He's highly skilled. I like his value. I like that my hair is nicely cut. And so that's amazing. But he brought in, I think, a specific example right now. Say a doctor who stays on the fiat standard and doesn't go to a Bitcoin standard, will the doctor be screwed? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think I will assume what you mean if like this doctor is really great, but he just keeps saving in fiat. Is that what you mean? I guess so.
I think that's what he means. Yeah.
If that's the case, yeah, if he is cool with just working all his life, it's like, because you always have to keep up, you know, like his salary, he has to make more salary each year to just keep up with inflation. This will just be a longer transition for him. So he will be fine if he goes to Bitcoin standard, but if he goes to fiat standard, he's unnecessarily getting screwed. Like he probably survives if he's a great earner. He probably survives, but he's still getting screwed, even though
he's going to work forever. Like,
yeah,
it's like getting your money to work for you. If he's just saving in fiat, his money's not working for him. His money's actually losing value forever, because you can create as much value as you want to in the moment. And there's another, like in the Bitcoin standard, Saifedean says you have to earn your money twice if you're working for fiat, right? You have to first you create the value, then you have to buy the assets that will maintain the value of that asset, or that value that you create. So there was I had a couple of one-on-ones with, or I had quite a few one-on-ones with doctors, and for some reason, a lot of doctors are huge real estate investors, and it makes sense, right? Because real estate, it has a massive barrier to entry. Most people can't buy real estate, and if you're making good money, then you can buy multiple properties every year if you really want to, because it's just a down payment, right? So a lot of the doctors that I spoke to, let's say there was one who had I think it was 15 rental properties, and he was maintaining this portfolio of 15 rental properties for a very long time. He hated it. He hated it so much because it was exactly what we were talking about. So you make your money once, then you have to make it twice, because you have to maintain the properties. You have to work twice, because otherwise your properties are screwed. So this guy, after he had a conversation with me, he sold 10 of his properties and bought Bitcoin with it. And he was so happy. He booked another meeting with me a few weeks later, or a few weeks after he sold his properties. And he was so happy because he no longer has to deal with those properties anymore. He no longer has to deal with the maintenance and the repairs and dealing with tenants, because all he can do now is just go to his job, and he likes doing what he does. It's not even that he doesn't like doing what he does. He likes doing what he does. He wants to work, but he doesn't want to work twice, right? He doesn't want to dedicate all of his time and his effort to just making money, right? And that's what real estate is. It's a way to make money, because in the current financial system, you need multiple ways to make money. You can't just be a professional doctor. You can't just be creating podcasts. You can't just be doing one thing. You have to do multiple. Everybody has to be an investor. So I don't know if I talked to you about this. I spoke to somebody else about this one day. I went to a travel clinic. We were going to travel somewhere, and I wanted to get some meds to make sure that we don't get meds. So
are you?
Oh yeah, I think it should be fine. For some reason, my cable I think is broken or something. But we wanted to get some meds because we didn't want to get sick on the trip, and the doctor was looking at some fund on her computer. She was looking at it. She was paying attention to that instead of doing research on how to help people, right? And you can't even really blame her, because her money is in that fund. She has to put her money in that fund, and she can't dedicate that time to learning more about her profession. It's crazy.
I love what you said about real estate, because if you really think about it, if you trade real estate for Bitcoin, you're trading a job for a superior asset. So for me, Bitcoin is in all intents and purposes superior to real estate. And you don't have to keep up with it. Of course, you have to look out for it, like where to keep it and how to keep it. But this is like a one-time thing, and like it's way easier how to than real estate. If you have real estate, and like everyone that ever owned real estate told me this. I've never owned real estate. Everyone told me this. It's like you have to keep doing things. Things break, tenants are annoying, and this and that. It's like it is a job, it's a business, and it's not a way to save money. And this is the big difference. Is like Bitcoin is for saving money, and real estate is for making money. It's something different, and that's why I also is like, oh yeah, you cannot really compare them. You can only compare them because the fiat system skewed real estate from being a business to being a savings device. There are people at my old job. The secretary did on the side real estate. Like she just had I think 2 real estate properties, and she got in the middle of the day just calls from like tenants. I was like, oh, okay, I will deal with that in the evening. I was like, yeah, like this is not an asset. I mean, it's an asset, it's a business asset, but it's not a savings vehicle. And this is something very different. Like something very, very different.
Yeah. So Nav said, I think high skilled workers might just be okay on a fiat standard investing in fiat assets. Yeah, I think they would be okay, but that's if they keep working, right? They have to keep working. They have to keep working. Even with like when you consider like what you said with your the secretary at your work, even she's working her job as a secretary, then she has another job, right? So as long as you're okay with working multiple jobs, that's fine. Even with investing, like if you invest in the stock market, it's still a job, right? Because think about it. Why are so many people focused on what the Fed has to say? It's because the Fed has control over their life. The Fed literally owns them. Because if the Fed were to come out and say, oh, we're going to drop interest rates to -5% today, how much is the stock market going to go up? Or if the Fed comes and says, we're going to increase interest rates by 20%, we're gonna push them up to 26%. What's gonna happen to their assets? This one group of people, this tiny group of people, 12 people, have full control over your life. But I think for some people, it's like they like doing it. You know what I mean? Like they actually enjoy it.
There is I would put it on a scale. So like there is let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is savings vehicle. You put your financial energy there, and you don't have to care about it. Like it just grows in financial power over time. Then there's stocks. It's a lot more active than Bitcoin, but less active than real estate. But you still have to keep up with it. I was a stock picker before. Like I loved picking stocks, and I will probably do it in the future again, because I just like love looking at companies and seeing like how they grow and like what is happening with them. But I was up at like 1 a.m. in the morning listening to conference calls, because I was in Europe and most of them were in America, just to see what's going on. So don't be confused if you think the stock market is my savings vehicle. The stock market is an investing. So the one thing is saving, which Bitcoin, stock market is investing, which is very different in my opinion, because investing is a job. Investing is something active. Passive investment would be saving, in my opinion. Like I kind of do things differently. And then real estate is for me a mix between investing and having a business. Basically, it's very active because you have to care about revenue all of a sudden. If there's a revenue somehow, it's a business. It's like it no longer is a savings. Gold has no cash flow. Bitcoin has no cash flow. So savings vehicles have no cash flow. And I also get from like my old friends that I had from the stock time. It's like, oh, how can you invest in Bitcoin? It has no cash flow. I'm like, it's a feature. Like it's like if it has a cash flow, then it would be a business, and then there would be a management team that can fail. Because if I have a stock, I have to keep up I have to listen to podcasts from the CEO, because I want to know if he's in the right position and if he's going in the right direction. A great company can be going to absolute like bankruptcy if the management team is not good. It's like you always have to keep up with everything. And so Bitcoin is the only real savings vehicle, in my opinion, currently. But there's nothing wrong with investing in stocks and investing in other things. But you have to be aware that it's a job. It's something that you have to actively do.
Yeah, that's it. So I completely agree with what you said. The real estate is not a savings vehicle, it's a business, because there's ongoing costs, there's fixed and variable costs. So if you, no matter what happens, you're going to have to replace your roof every 25 years. No matter what happens, you're going to have to mow your lawn. You're going to have to pay a company for landscaping, or you can do it yourself, right? But there's going to be that cost no matter what. No matter what happens, you're going to have to pay for heat, because if you don't, then your pipes are going to freeze, your property is going to get wrecked, right? And then if there are people who move in, then your costs go up, right? Because they're going to be using more energy, they're going to be using more water, you have to pay more, right? So I completely agree with you. Real estate should not be considered a savings account, but too many people do believe that. In my culture, in my community, a lot of people think that if you don't own real estate, then you're failing at life, right? And that's not how life is. If anything, if you don't own real estate at this point, you might be more free to do whatever you want. You might have more opportunities. You might have more, and this is because of the internet. So before the internet, things were different, right? Before the internet, you probably expected to stay at the same company for 40 years. You probably expected to stay in the same neighborhood for 30 years, right? You expected to be there for life, right? But now, because of the internet, we discover things like, oh, you can go to Bali, right? You can go to this place. You can go to this place. You can travel to Asia and you can do your work, right? Before that, you couldn't, because you were. My cable, I think my cable is broken. I need to get a new cable. But you were stuck in one place before the internet, and you didn't have a choice to move to other places. And now we have that choice. And now I think real estate is getting wrecked because of that specifically.
Yeah, and I think just in his light, I think summarized my thoughts very nicely. Where Bitcoin is saving, stock market is investing, and real estate as a business, and this is kind of the main thing of the thing is like if you do those things, you will. And I just had Grant Cardone on my podcast, like literally last week, and it was a lot of fun talking with him, because I think he has what did he say, $5.2 billion dollar portfolio of real estate, and he is actually getting Bitcoin more and more. So like he's slowly getting towards Bitcoin. Obviously, he has an incentive not to get Bitcoin fully because he has a huge real estate portfolio. But it's really interesting how I think everyone that is investing in real estate is extremely primed to understand Bitcoin, because they get this property aspects of it, to get the scarcity aspect of it. So I think real estate is a huge, like, what is it, 300 trillion, 400 trillion? Like it's huge and so much money, and this money is primed to just come into Bitcoin. Like it will happen. It will happen. I always tend to say sooner than we expect, but it also depends on what you expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people are expecting it to never happen.
Yeah, it's like like I already see it so many. Like you've seen, that's an amazing chart. It's also the updated one. You see like 370 trillion in real estate. That's so huge, and it will not go to zero. Like, don't get me wrong, the real estate thing will not go to zero, because there's value in having a home, and I think you can make a lot of money with doing real estate if you're a professional. You know what you're doing, and you know that this is your main business. And this is what I think also Bitcoin will bring us back. You will make a lot of money picking stocks if you're really good in that. If you want to pursue it as a career or as a part-time job, you can make a lot of money with real estate if you pursue it as a career, as a main thing, and not as a savings vehicle on the side, being a secretary. Like that's absolutely ridiculous for me.
Yeah. See, that's one of the craziest things. So we're seeing most people, I think they don't see how this can change. So this is something like 2.3 trillion. This is probably like 25 trillion at this point. I don't know what these ones are. These probably went up to, because the stock markets around the world have been making new highs. I think that these numbers are all going to continue to go up, and so is this number. But Bitcoin will continue to take a bigger and bigger chunk of that total, right? So over time, you're going to see that right now Bitcoin is like 0.2%. At some point, because it's going to massively outperform everything else, you're going to see it go to 0.5%, then it's going to go to 1%, then 2%, then 3%, 4, 5, 6. And then as it rises in percentage terms, the price goes up and more people are attracted to it because they think it'll go up even more. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And there's another thing happening where there is some money waiting for Bitcoin to become bigger before they can even invest in it. Like huge pension funds and big institutional money that cannot invest in assets that are smaller. So they have to invest in huge assets. So so it kind of, as Bitcoin grows, weirdly enough, it gets more attractive for larger and larger amount of people, larger amount of capital. And I'm curious what you think about that, because I often get asked a lot, like, what's the total addressable market of Bitcoin? And this chart is amazing because you kind of see, okay, that's the total addressable market, but as we know, there will always be some money in gold, there will always be some money in cars and collectibles, in real estate, in equities. I'm not sure about bonds. I'm not sure about money, but in the other things, probably. So like, how much of that total, like 100% of what we're seeing, like, do you think is like kind of possible without even giving like a time frame on it, like that Bitcoin actually can capture?
So at some point, I think that Bitcoin is going to be worth as an asset $1 quadrillion. At some point, right? And it'll keep going because you see, the thing is that it can go up forever and it can keep going up. It can keep going up. There's no limit, right? So $1 quadrillion may seem completely ridiculous today, but at some point, $1 quadrillion will be the norm, because as today, how many people would have thought that, let's say 15 years ago, how many people would have thought, Bitcoin is going to $2 trillion? Nobody, right? And from 0 to $2 trillion, that's an infinity gain. But from $2 trillion to 1,000 trillion or 1 quadrillion, that's a 500x, right? And 500x is way more possible, especially at this point, because no trillion-dollar asset has failed in the past. So going to $500 trillion, or going up 500x from here to 1,000 trillion or 1 quadrillion, it's not impossible. It will I think it will happen. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetimes, but at some point, people will see that this thing can keep going up forever, literally forever, and it'll keep going up forever because it's the only finite asset in the world, right? Let's say, for example, people want to buy it, and they can put as much money into it as they want to, and they can borrow against their real estate. They can borrow against their stocks to buy Bitcoin. All they're doing is they're creating more money and adding it to the system. And we know that over time, more and more people will do this. And over time, the value that they're using to buy the Bitcoin, it can be created out of thin air, and it'll continue to be created out of thin air. At some point, it's like what I think it was Lawrence Lepard that says this. He says how both, is it Jeff Booth or Lawrence? So one of them say that it's impossible for both of them to survive together. Because
gold and Bitcoin?
No, Bitcoin and fiat. Sorry, I meant Bitcoin and fiat, because fiat is literally the opposite of Bitcoin. It's the opposite. It's the polar opposite, because you can create fiat out of thin air. You can't create Bitcoin out of thin air. You can have as much fiat as you want to, but you can't have as much Bitcoin as you want to. Maybe at that point, let's say when Bitcoin does go to a quadrillion, so it's at 2 trillion now, it'll go to a quadrillion. Maybe at that point, it'll only be worth $100 billion or $100 trillion in today's money. But even then, $100 trillion, you have a 50x to go minimum, right? But then it'll keep going. So one concept that I really like to think about is that, and I mentioned this before in my other podcasts. So one concept that I like to think about is the US dollar can lose 99%, then it can lose another 99%, then it can lose another 99%, then it can lose another 99%. It can keep going literally forever. And I don't think most people can wrap their heads around that concept. They don't understand that there's more fiat being created as we speak. As we speak, there's more fiat being created. There's people in the bank, they're lining up to apply for a mortgage, and that mortgage is more fiat just being added to the economy and being dumped on people's heads. And there's nothing they can do about it. People don't see that.
And this is really A good one from NAF that you also highlighted here. It won't be measured in dollars when it's a quadrillion, lol. And I think it probably the quote that you said, like they both cannot survive. It probably comes from Jeff Booth. Like it's a very Jeff Booth thing to say. I haven't heard him saying it, but like I could very much imagine him saying it. And I do think at that point, way before 1 quadrillion. I think we will already measure things in Bitcoin. If it's such a huge asset, this will be the natural denomination for everything. It was like, or like, how many Satoshis will that be? This will be, everyone will denominate everything in Bitcoin. As we are already kind of seeing, like this is something that we are already kind of seeing in the Bitcoin world. I personally think of like, oh, how many more Satoshis do I get with that? And if I don't do that, do I get less Satoshis? Like the Satoshis is the denomination that I really care about. Hi, Jacobson. I've seen you always in my YouTube comments. Great seeing you together. Love it.
Sorry, who? Oh, Jacobson?
T. Jacobson, yeah. I see him in my YouTube comments. I don't do live streamings. I really have to go live streaming because it's so weird. I see so many comments on Twitter and YouTube, and I always feel like I have already a relationship with them, but I have never like really spoken with them. So like live stream is like a more interactive, like better feeling. So it feels like I have to start live streaming and to have that kind of feeling. We should go live together more often, man.
Absolutely. I had a live with Bram. I think it was last week or the week before. It was great. It was awesome. We went for like 4 hours. We could have kept going if we wanted to. 4 hours, and we could have kept going. Right? The only reason why we had to leave was because it was late for Bram. Right? Otherwise, we could have kept going. It was because that's the thing, right? There's so much to talk about. There's so many people who really don't understand this thing, and there's never an end to how much content or knowledge somebody can gain from this thing, right? It can keep going forever. There's also the benefit of to us of teaching other people. You can sell your knowledge online, right? We're monetizing. Like, think about it. Before we set up this call, we didn't think about, oh, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to talk about. We just thought about this. We just did this randomly. It's just coming out of our brains, and we're having a conversation, and people want to listen to it, and we're getting paid for it. So why not? Right? Anybody can do this. Anybody can create content online. Anybody can create. So somebody said even fitness training. Drew said this. Amazing. Yeah. People would find that so valuable. What are the problems that people have? People have a problem with not being fit enough. People have a problem with not having enough money. People have a problem with maybe not having the strongest relationships. People have a problem with what other problems do people have?
A lot of them. But I want to just touch on that one thing before we get lost on that, because Drew said sell your knowledge online if you are certified in a subject. I would change it a little bit, saying sell your knowledge online if you have proof of work in a subject.
Yes.
Because I don't believe in too many certifications, but I do believe in proof of work. Like if I buy a fitness program, like you better don't be fat. I want to see, like, I want to look at a fitness coach and I'm like, yeah, I want to have this body. I want to be fit as him. And then it's like the proof of work that goes into that. With fitness, it's very simple to make that thing. But also like, if I buy a course from someone, tell me how to get millions of followers, I want to see where he got his millions of followers. like I want to see proof of work. So I would change the certified from certified to like, show me your proof of work. What have you done in that? And that's kind of the certification, if you so will.
Have you seen that picture of there's this picture that I saw of the health ministers in different countries?
I've seen that.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's so great.
That's the crazy part to me. Those people. Oh, here I found the picture. Let me pull it up. Why would you want advice from these people?
Yeah.
Right?
That's the craziest thing for me. Like, how?
Again, I'm not hating on these. I'm not hating on these people. I'm saying, why would you want their advice on health, right? That's like going to somebody who's broke to get it's like going to somebody who's broke to get financial advice when they have no results to show. And then the thing that I said here, either number one, they don't practice what they preach, but they want us to, which makes no sense because clearly they're not healthy, right? I don't care what people say. This guy is not healthy. She's not healthy. This person's not healthy, and she's not healthy, right? Either they don't practice what they preach, or what they're preaching is incorrect, and they do what they practice, or they do practice what they preach, and it's not working for them. It's not giving them the results that they want. So why would you want to go to those people, right? But I get what you're saying based on that. So the proof of work.
Exactly, and this is such a good thing. Like,
Perfect example.
and it is a lot actually. Do you know? Have you seen the picture of like the central banker in Europe of like this really like big one? I was like, that's the perfect picture of like a central banker. I unfortunately don't know his name, but like it's I think it's very famous as a meme. It was like that's how like central bankers are.
Oh, this guy. His name is Augustin Karsten. Let me pull up a picture. Hold on. This guy. Right?
Yes. I think that's it is. It's like this is the central bank, like the the final boss. Or is it even?
That's what fiat does to you, right? It lets some people consume way too much, while other people don't get to consume at all. Like clearly, this guy's not missing meals.
Yeah, he
right?
has enough meals per day.
He probably has like at a point he's probably eating 4 meals compared to what he should be. So he should be eating 1, but he's eating like 4 times what he's supposed to. But there's other people who don't even get 1, right? It applies to housing as well. There are some people who have thousands of houses and other people who have none. Some people who have yachts and they have vacation homes and they can live their best life, while other people are struggling for the rest of their life just to make a basic amount of money, just to achieve a basic standard of living, right? It's crazy. Yeah, I think we went pretty off topic, but yeah, what you said there, is selling your knowledge online, it's proof of work. I think proof of work is the key.
Exactly, yeah, and so it's interesting because more and more people ask me about like content creation, and I always tell them like, oh, like I don't know how much I know about it, but then they ask me a specific question, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I actually know a lot about, because I put in the proof of work, and yeah, like the Bitcoiners, the proof of scam. It's also possible. A lot of people did it. I also love the one from Michael Plast. He's not missing meals. Share the meme. I think this is actually like we should make a collage of all those people and then like make that. But I also don't want to bully people. But it kind of shows the fiat system of like he has so much that he's overeating, and then other people don't have anything. They literally starve to death. So yeah, it's crazy for me.
Yeah, it's insane, and it'll just see, that's the thing, right? It'll keep. It's what Stan here said. True, in that time also Bitcoin will be so stable, the price that things will be priced in Bitcoin will no longer, yeah, exactly, no longer in fiat, because at that point people will want that stability, right? And then that moves away from, the fiat standard. It moves away from all those things that we saw in that picture. It moves everything away from it takes power away from them, because the only thing that you can really create value from is what you have proof of work of. And if you have proof of work, then you can make money. You can't scam people anymore.
I love what Michael said. It's not bullying, it's demonstrating the truth. And this is very true. And it's actually something that I'm kind of annoyed with, of like, we no longer can point out the obvious of like, oh yeah, like you're unhealthy, and then now it's called like body shaming, and I'm like, that's not body shaming. Like I'm just like, that's not body shaming. It's like a fact. Like you are not healthy, and now it's like body positivity and all. Like it's a whole different direction. I don't want to go with that. They are too deep, but I think it's it's also a fiat thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. I like I know it's really mean. And I don't know. I think people will probably cancel me for saying this, but there's this quote that people say, bring back bullying, right? And I don't agree, like, if you bully children, that's different, that's bad, that's terrible. But if, like, these people control our lives, they need to be bullied, right? If they can't handle the criticism, then they shouldn't be in those positions.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between bullying and calling out the truth.
Yes.
Which is like, when you are if you have an unhealthy body and you're saying like, oh, you have an unhealthy body, you should do something against that. That's just the truth. Like there's nothing. We know for a fact that if you have too much body fat, and they definitely have too much, this is very, very, very bad for your body. And let's make a mind shift of like, I'm extremely fat, and someone comes up to me and says like, oh, Robin, you are so fat. I could react to that like, oh no, like, I love my body. I was like, yeah, but I could also go down the rabbit hole of saying like, oh, maybe he's true. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm actually being unhealthy here. And maybe this one comment, this one time people saying me the truth is giving me a productive feedback, is giving me a nice feedback on saying like, okay, I have to improve. And then all of a sudden I work out, I be in the gym, I eat better, I sleep better. And all of a sudden, because of that one mean bullying comment, I get healthier because I got constructive feedback.
Yeah, it improves your life, right? It makes you want to do something to him. Why is it that if somebody's broke, you tell them, hey, you're broke, you should improve your finances. If somebody's saying stupid things, you tell them, hey, you're doing stupid things, so stop doing those things. You're smoking, stop doing that. So you're drinking way too much, stop drinking. Why is it that those things are okay, but we're not allowed to tell people that, okay, you should improve your health? And people get offended, and people will do whatever they can to stop that from. I find that crazy. It's hypocrisy. That's exactly what it is. People will say what they want to in order to attack somebody else. And if they get attacked on those things, let's say, for example, with being super fat, they get offended. They don't like it.
Joe brings it to the point. The world is too fat. I 100% agree with that.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to that topic of stop working so hard, get your money to work for you. There's one thing that I actually thought about. I thought this was interesting. If you're in the fiat financial system, you can have active income and you can have passive income. Actually, let's connect this to the body positivity and fat thing. So you have active income and you have passive income. Active income is almost like running on a treadmill, because you only lose calories when you're running on that treadmill. The calories are burned while you're on the treadmill. Once you get off the treadmill, the calories stop being burned, right? Passive income is like doing weights. So doing weights, when you do weights, you keep burning calories. Every pound of muscle that you add on, it burns 50 calories. This is fitness knowledge for people. I've been going down the rabbit hole. Every pound of muscle that you add to your body burns something like 25 to 50 calories per day, no matter what, all the time. So active income is, you go to your job, you have to work, you work super hard, you go to your job and you get paid for what you're doing. With passive income, you're putting in the effort, the time, the energy today, and at some point it'll pay you back. It'll keep paying you back. And that's exactly what weightlifting is. You lift the weights today, it's really difficult, but over the rest of your life, it'll continue to burn calories forever. I found that such an I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I find it so interesting because it's exactly like building wealth.
I have an interesting like, I always and I agree with like what you're saying. I would put it in different terminologies, because I don't think there is such a thing as passive income, because even at the passive income, you had to put in at least a little bit of work. So you had like, at some point you had to put in work, and this makes it kind of active. But I I frame it differently, where I say like you have active income always, but it depends on how much you're getting for that 1 hour. So if you say you have like 1 hour of work and you get a continuous revenue from that, and you, like as we said with the video, you made a video that took you maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 5 hours to produce, and it continues to pay you, this 1 hour of work is just worth more. So you're always trading at the base level. Everyone is always trading time for money, even if it's just like a very small amount of time, and it gets you a lot. For example, someone could be a very popular speaker, and he goes onto the stage, and with this one stage appearance, he makes like 300,000, 500,000, $400,000, which he also trades his 1 hour of time for like a lot of money. But he also gets, because like this is not like because his 1 hour is so valuable, it's because he made, with a lot of great high leverage work that he did before, he compounded brand, he compounded knowledge, he compounded all his things, that he's able to charge so much. So I like this comparison a lot. I would just frame it in a way, because there's this hunt of passive income, and I kind of don't like that. Like, oh, like I want to just like find something that pays me, and I don't have to do anything anymore. It's like focus on leveling up how much you're getting paid. And for example, YouTube is amazing because in the beginning you don't get paid anything, and at some point you're getting better and you're building something, and all of a sudden you put in like 4 years of work in, and in the 5th year you're earning like 5 times as much as you did anywhere before that. And so that's where I feeling this is the only thing, the small thing that I disagree with. Like there is no such thing as like truly passive income. You always have to put in active thing. You have to put in something at some point, but it could be a continuous thing.
That's it, right? So I actually want to show an example of one of my videos. So I made a video before, I explained this, and I think that people will probably find this valuable. This is me just showing you how I make money, right? So if you take a look at this is my YouTube channel. This is one of my videos on my YouTube channel. So it was called 0.01 Bitcoin will change your life, or something like that. The thumbnail is 0.01 Bitcoin will buy you a house. I don't remember. Oh, here it is. Why you should accumulate at least 0.01 Bitcoin, right? So that's the title of this video. If you want to go watch it, you can. But let's go back to, oh, sorry, I lost the video. Where is it? Wait, where was it? The reason I want to show that one specifically is because it was so old. So, oh yeah, okay. So it's July of 2024. Okay, so we'll go to the analytics. In total, this video has made $502, right? So it has 50.9K watch hours. But let's take a look at the first 24 hours. So the first 24 hours, it only made $55. It only had 7.1K views in the first 24 hours. In the last 90 days, it got another 2.3K views. And like I said before, I put in the effort once and I don't have to do anything else, right? That effort is already put in, and it'll keep producing. It'll keep producing literally forever. So the last 90 days, it produced 4106. In the last year, it produced $349.97. It produced more in the last year than it did in the first 24 hours of production. And who else can say that this is happening? My job didn't do this, right? When I worked a job, it made money once and then it stopped. If I go back to those hours are gone, right? But this video, I think this is perfect, like what you said there. This video is a perfect example of when, if you put in the value once, it'll continue to produce value forever. It'll continue, it'll keep putting, do that. I think that's the best way to go. If you can work hard as well. If you work hard, like you work very hard. You post a video every single day. It may not work. It may not feel like work to you. It may not, like, I feel like I work hard, but it may not feel like work to me. But the value that we're creating, it's going to keep creating value literally forever. And I think that's what people should do. work hard on your own life. Don't work hard on somebody else's. Don't work hard on somebody else's business. I think that's the hack here, to get away from having to build somebody else's dream and building your own.
That's freaking amazing. I just looked at my most popular video and looked how those stats are looking. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I've never done that.
Yeah, it's insane, right? You put in the effort once.
Wow.
And it'll literally pay you forever, right? So the way that I see it, it's not even, okay, so it's not even like, oh, $10 a month is that much. It may not be, but the thing is, it stacks, right? You're making a video every single day, and every single one of those videos could make $10 a day forever. It's probably not going to happen. I'm not even, nothing against your channel, nothing against my channel, but it's probably not going to happen, but it has the chance to. And why wouldn't you want that?
It's amazing. I just looked at the Sailor video because this is just like so outrageously a lot. Like it's
you sharing it so people can see, or if you don't want to,
of course. Yeah. Like
it's so inspiring for people because they can see the numbers and they can do it for, like, there's a lot of people in this channel. I know Nav knows a lot about Bitcoin, and I feel like, okay, let me share it. Here you go. And I feel like he's
yeah.
Go ahead.
And so here you see, because you looked also the first, there's a little bit German in there, so I apologize, but I will translate. This is the first 24 hours of revenue. It's 613 Canadian dollars, like I translated in what it is in Canadian dollars. Then we can see since it's been there.
In total, wow.
In total, it's been 3,200 Canadian dollars. Keep in mind, it's like by far the best videos. So like this is not what I usually get.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the last, what is it? 90 days you did, right?
Wow.
It's all 50 bucks. And this is like one video. And this is freaking awesome. Like I have never looked at that. Like
right.
That's freaking awesome.
Like that's crazy to me because every video you make, you make a video every single day and you post it every single day. And those videos that you're making can keep creating value forever. So why shouldn't we want people to do this, right? I want people to do this because that way I know that, and it doesn't have to be about Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be about any specific topic. You can do it about anything, right? You can post about a show that you watch. Like if you like Friends, for example, post about Friends. If you like Breaking Bad, post about Breaking Bad. If you like talking about plants, go talk about plants. There will be an audience. And you can literally make money. You produce the video once, it'll make money literally forever. Then what Jor said here, every video is a block on the chain. Exactly. Every video you make is proof that you created something in that time. And see, one of the things that I really like about YouTube is that it's almost like a diary, right? Because you're posting videos and you can go back and you can see, hey, this is what I was thinking on July 31st, 2024. Right? It's always going to be there and you can always refer back to it. And it's a public diary, basically, right? You're teaching people that, okay, this is what I think. This is how I think. This is how I want you to think. Maybe this will provide value to you. And I feel like that's extremely valuable, right? It's extremely, it's an extremely great way to, I guess, share it's almost like a legacy. Like your YouTube channel, Robin, your YouTube channel is going to be your legacy. Right? People are going to be looking back. They're going to be like, holy shit, this guy posted videos every single day for 2 years straight. 2 years straight. How many people can do that? I don't know anybody who's done
that. I want to put into two things. Like the first thing is the thing that DC4 Team said, which is actually very true. That it's not passive if you stop posting, the views drop. That's to a certain extent true, because if I think if I completely stop posting, the algorithm probably like still hits my old videos, but it will probably like go off a little bit. Like like also the video that I just showed you, this is my main video. When you go on my YouTube page, so it's literally like everyone that comes new to the channel sees it. So like he's to a certain extent completely right, because like it's not just like I created it and it just keeps on. If I would have stopped after that Sailor video, it would have made like half of the revenue probably, or like maybe only 80% of the revenue, whatever the number is. So that to a certain extent is true. But the thing is, like, if you have proof of work and you put in proof of work, the old proof of work gets kind of accelerated, which is kind of cool. And I want to talk with the legacy thing for you. And this is the thing actually motivating me probably the most, is if you think about your great grandson in like 2,000 years from now, or like 200 years from now, something very far away from it, they will be very likely able to decode our videos. They can probably see at whatever device they're using at that time, watch the videos. And I thought about that. How amazing would it be to get my great grandfather from like 1815 to see like, oh, what did he do at that time? What did he think about at that time? Like, how did he spend his time? And me having a daily, like every day I sit down with another person and I do these interviews, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is freaking amazing, because then anybody in the future can look back and says like, oh, this is the thing going.
Yeah, and the best thing here is that I think the videos that we're making are going to be seen as aging really well, right? The videos that we're making, I started making videos, what, a year and a half ago, and my videos are aging extremely well, extremely well. Like so I was looking through my analytics, and over the last few days, I posted less. I may actually start posting a lot less now, because my old videos are proof of work, right? It's proof of work. It's already there. People can watch those. The way that I see it, if I post less, my old videos will get even more traction, right? Instead of posting daily, I was posting daily for a very, very long time. Instead of posting daily, I'm going to start posting every 3 days, right? Create scarcity for my content so that when people see it on their feed, they're forced to watch it, because they know that the value that I'm creating is real. I'm creating real value. People may not watch every single video. And Michael Sullivan said here, evergreen content, 100%. 100%. This guy, by the way, created a book, Michael. He go to his YouTube channel. Hey, his X page. Go to his X page. He created a book. He wrote a book. Michael, if you want to, maybe you can share the link. I think people will find it very interesting. It's a fiction Bitcoin book. I thought it was such an interesting concept. I haven't read it yet. I plan to, but that's the thing, right? You support other people. You help other people. Like even Robin here. Go subscribe to Robin's channel. It doesn't hurt you to watch his videos and mine and other people's. Keep absorbing more and more content, and there's never too many YouTube channels. There's never too many Bitcoin YouTube channels. Anybody in this chat can go and create their own YouTube channel. I think that's one of the great things that Jor did. Jor was one of the people who motivated me to create my YouTube channel, because I was listening to him before I even had a channel. It was awesome. I loved it, because the content that he was posting was amazing. It made me think differently. It made me think like, oh, this is what Bitcoin is. This is how Bitcoin works. This is where Bitcoin is going. And I never thought about creating content unless I watched his channel. So go subscribe to him as well. And 100% what he said, 100% I would kill to be able to listen to my grandpa speak for an hour, never mind 1,000 hours. Agreed. Completely agree. And our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids are going to be thinking exactly the same thing.
100%. And Michael is a great guy. I had him on the podcast, and I think I have to re-invite him, like with the book now finally out. Yeah. I think the last time I talked with him, where he kind of said like, oh, like when will it be launched? And it was a lot of fun, like talking with Michael. And it's I want to say that because like it's like everyone has to kind of find his own craft, and some people might be like, oh, but I don't want to film myself, I don't feel comfortable in front of camera. Like, first of all, like, try it out, because you might be surprised how comfortable you will be if you try it. You give it a try, and it's like most of the YouTubers are not comfortable in front of camera before. But even if you're like, okay, I've tried it, I've done videos, like I really don't want it, there's so many other things. The internet is like so many many possibilities, opportunities. You can literally just write articles. You don't even have to show your face or your voice, and you can be super, super, super successful. Obviously, live streaming or videos like is the biggest kind of like leverage that you can have if you build out, and it's probably also the fastest way. And I love that. Not from Joe. None of us were comfortable when they first pressed record. I have an interesting one. When I first started making content, it was in 2020. I was really disencouraged because, first of all, nobody really listened to me on YouTube, and I was kind of uncomfortable every time I did it. And I created like 50 videos in 2020, and then I stopped doing it. And I kind of abandoned my YouTube channel for about 4 years, and then I started it again. With like, okay, if I really want to do it, I just like have to stick with it. And I was again very uncomfortable, and I'm still a little uncomfortable, honestly. Like every time I go on a live stream, every time I like go on a video, and I've done today was my 620th podcast, like 620 podcasts, and I'm
like
still
long videos, you mean?
Long videos, like 620 like 1 hour or longer videos, and so having that, and I'm still a little bit uncomfortable, like I will try this week, actually on Friday, my first solo episode live stream. I will do it on like a very small kick thing, because I don't want anyone to listen to the first one. I want to listen for the people who like the 10th one, and I'm terrified. I'm like, oh fuck, what will I say and all of that. And my thought was like, I was last time on the Orange Peel podcast from Nikki, and we talked for like 1.5 hours, and she was like really like interviewing me, and so she was asking me about like 3 questions, and she was talking the 1.5 hours. She was talking for like maybe 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, and I was talking the rest of the 1.5 hours, and I was like, that's already a solo episode. Like that's already like just me talking. Like I didn't need a host for that. And so I want to start this week actually with solo episodes, and I'm freaking terrified. I'm like, there's nobody else there. Like my comfort zone is now no longer there. And so what I really want, like with that whole thing that I just said, like I want to encourage people to go a little bit outside your comfort zone. That's where the growth happens. This is where the good things come about. And this is really something that I want to stress out, because saving in Bitcoin is great, but building leverage also on earning more, and then saving even more in Bitcoin is even better.
Amazing. That's it. That's huge. Nav asked a question about creating videos with AI if you don't want to put your face to it. What I would instead say is, I mean, you can do that if you want to, but what if you were to just go with creating a podcast, right? You can upload to something like Spotify, right? And then you don't have to think about showing your face. I think that's perfectly fine. You don't have to think about creating the AI. What I would say is start with the easiest thing. I think just making videos and posting them is probably the easiest thing, because then you don't have to think about making videos with AI. You don't have to keep improving your skills with AI. You don't have to keep getting better at it. And that's perfectly fine if you want to. Eventually, you could pay somebody to make the videos for you. But I would say if you want to, like if you're just starting, even start with just posting on X. Right, because then you don't have to take 10, 15 minutes. You don't have to take like an hour to make the video. You don't have to take an hour to edit the video. You don't have to do all that. Eventually, you might think that, okay, I like doing this. Maybe I'll start converting my ideas into podcasts. Then I'll start converting my ideas into YouTube videos. And it scales up from there, right? I personally started with pictures on Instagram. I was posting personal finance content on Instagram for 1.5 years, 2 years. And then I moved to X, and I started posting my X content on Instagram, and that did really, really well. And then I started doing a newsletter. That did really, really well. But over time, my content has gotten longer and longer, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. The scale of the content has gotten bigger and bigger, because before, let's say I post a picture, people are going to be looking at it for, let's say, a minute, 2 minutes maybe. Then I post on X. I post every single day, 10, 15 times. People are on my page for, let's say, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day. Then on the newsletter, people are reading the newsletter for half an hour, 45 minutes, right? And now YouTube, people are going from one video to another, and they're spending an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours a day just watching my content. It's absolutely insane. But that's the thing. You move up it's almost like a ladder where you keep getting better and better until at some point you're okay with posting whatever you have knowledge of.
And it's very true. I love that, and I say we actually talked about it a little bit before with the AI thing. There's this Laffer curve, and there's this stream of just like, oh, I create 100% AI videos. It will be almost worthless because if it's 100% AI, it's easy to do, and a lot of people will do it. And so it is the scarcity of your personal authenticity, and that's why I love that, Roger, you're doing live streaming. That's why I also like doing that. I had this observation that there was a charity football game, and I think it came from Mr. Beast or something, and then there was the celebrities, like the normal like Hollywood celebrities, and they came in, and people are like applauding a little bit. And then there were like the short form content creators, and people were actually like applauding a little bit more. They knew them a little bit more, and like it was a little bit more cheerful. And then there were the podcasts, the long form content creators, like the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes video creators. And then at the end were the live streamers. They got the huge applause. Like it's the IShowSpeed, the guys that like are just like super popular and everywhere. And I'm telling you this because I think the internet is going more and more towards, how should I say that? They're going more and more towards authenticity and truthness. This was we are doing right now. We hadn't even any script. We just said on like, oh, let's pick that topic. Like, let's see what we are talking about. Now we are closing down to the 2-hour mark, and we're just talking, and we had no idea where we end up right now. Like nothing. Yeah. There was nothing here, and so this is just Roger and me talking, and that's what people like. People just like the raw, the truth. That there's also no. If I say it now, it will be online within like, I don't know what delay you put in there, but probably like in under 1 second or like maybe a few seconds.
I think it's like 10 seconds.
It's 10 seconds. So like I say it, and then there's like a 10-second delay, and it is already there. And so it is the closest thing for someone else to sit with us and just like be in the room. And I think this is the rawness, the truthness, the thing that really people like. And so if you go ahead and just make videos 100% with AI, not showing your face, and it's all AI, and there's no human touch, there's no truthness to it, you will be lost in the crowd. There will be a flood of content that does exactly that. And the popular people, the people that make money, the people that do the great stuff, will be the people that go on a 7-hour live stream and film themselves while you do everything the whole day. There will be a guy that will just start live streaming, and the only time he's no longer live streaming is when he goes to bed, and he will be freaking like, if you want to do something crazy, like pick a camera, put it everywhere, wherever you go with you, put a live stream on every platform, and do that for the rest of like, maybe not the live, do this for like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and only turn it off when you're sleeping, and you will be amazed how many people will know you after like 5 years. You'll be probably like the most watched person on earth if you just film everything of you. That's why That's why reality TV works.
It's because you keep getting better and better at it. It's like with Mr. Beast, right? He specifically put all of his time, his energy, and effort into growing on YouTube. Once you have that goal and you try to track everything that you do, it's impossible not to reach whatever you want to reach. And I'm sure, for your example, for your podcast, you're going to get to 1 million views a month at some point, right? When you just started, that was impossible to even think about, right? I'm going to get to 1 million views a month at some point. When I started, I was thinking, oh, how am I even going to get my first view, right? My very first view, I like looking at these numbers. My very first view was on April 10th, I believe. And I got 1 view in the entire day. Right now, I get like 50 views every couple minutes. So 1 view per day, 250 views every couple minutes. At some point, we're going to be at like a view a minute, or a view, let's say, no, not a view a minute. Let's say a view a second. Then it'll be 10 views a second, then it'll be 100 views. But that's the thing. It keeps adding up and it keeps adding up. It keeps accumulating.
There's also an interesting question. Satoshi Vale was like, how to get some reach when you are really just starting without getting lost in the crowd? Like, first of all, like when you get just started, just as Rajat said, like, you will not even be lost in a crowd. Like you struggle for your first view, and then you have to get your first real view, like someone that not only clicks on your video but like actually watches the whole thing.
Yes.
And so it's the same as you do it in real life. If you start like a weekly workshop, like you have to get someone to watch it. It probably will be like friends or like something like that. But the thing I want to say is like the first thing is the truthness, the realness, the thing that really drives people in. And then the second one is just like getting better over time, putting as much work as possible in there. Like make in the beginning 5 videos per day just to get better in like making videos, like improve the craft that you can do.
Exactly. You get better over time. So this is I want to be fully transparent with people. So this is my first couple of months of posting. I think I posted my first video on April 9th, I guess, because that's when the first view came up. That was the first view, right? April 9th, very first view. At that point, I had no audience. Nobody was watching my channel. Nobody cared about me. Nobody thought about who I was. Over time, it keeps pumping up though. You can see here. So first view here. In the last 48 hours, I've gotten 26,000 views. In the first 2 months, I got 36,000. So 36,000 in 2 months versus 26,000 in 2 days. Right. And that's how it grows. It keeps growing. It takes time. I think that's the most important thing. I think what people do is they like if for your channel, for example, I was watching your channel from, I don't remember when I started watching your channel, but I watched your channel at first and I was trying to get like kind of, I guess you can say, trying to get to know you, trying to see what this guy has to say. In the beginning, I had no confidence in you. I didn't understand you. I didn't know how you thought. But over time, because you kept posting, you kept making content, it made me want to keep watching your content. It made me want to keep giving you a chance, and it made me almost root for you because you're my competitor in a way. Right? If people are watching your videos, they're not watching my videos, right? So, but that's not how I think. The way that I think about it is different people, like what Jor said before. Different people resonate with different people. Different people resonate with different stories, right? So somebody in Austria might like your videos, but somebody in Canada might like my videos more, right? And that doesn't mean that there's abundance in everything, right? Those people can watch both videos, right? And that's the value here. So with somebody like Satoshi Vale, keep going. Keep posting, keep creating content. If you're just, I don't know what kind of content you post right now. I haven't looked at your channel, but let's say you're making videos about art, start sprinkling in some content about Bitcoin philosophy. I think people would find that very valuable.
And I think, as also Joe said, we are all on the Bitcoin team. This is something so important, and this is unique to content creators and especially to Bitcoin content creators. Like we are fighting for like I see us as digital soldiers for the Bitcoin revolution. And I'm arms in arms with Rajat fighting the fiat enemy. That's why I hate that whole core versus NOTs debate, because I'm like, every time we are doing infighting, we're not fighting with the real enemy. We want to separate money from state, and so like, oh, like there is this competitiveness of like, oh wow, Roger got like 26, like I only got 10,000 views in the last 48 hours. There's like this competitiveness, like, oh, let's see what he does so I can learn from him. Oh, I also want to like, there's like this thing in me. But I don't have this thing of like, oh, he steals views of me. That's a whole different thing. I'm like, I want to keep up with him. I want to embrace that. I want to like come to better terms with that. So like, there's this one thing of content creators. I think content creators actually add to each other and are not competitors. It's a different thing because it's like an abundant game and not a scarcity game. And then the other thing is, I think if Bitcoin in general, like I fight against every financial game channel that has like, oh, like you should invest in an ETF, or like, or build your real estate portfolio. Like, this is, and I was this guy, by the way. So this is kind of the thing that I would more fight against, or the whole crypto thing, as Florida Swamp Monkey brought it up, of like every crypto channel, I want to be bigger. I want to have the Bitcoin channel be bigger and not the crypto channel. That's why I go on like long live streams, like almost 2 hours with Rajat, because we know like it's Bitcoin, and we are on the same mission together. And I think that's extremely, extremely important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. So how should we end this off? I think people need to, the message, the general message here is stack Bitcoin, right? But what can people do on the way there? I think people will definitely find value in creating content, right? There was somebody who said here, most people still think Bitcoin is a scam. They do. What that means is that's an opening for you to teach them. It's an opportunity. Use that opportunity to your advantage and stack Satoshis, get better at whatever your craft is, and get your money to work for you. In the beginning, it took me like 9-10 hours to make a video, of like a 20-minute video, 30-minute video, because I was editing it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was terrible at it. I had to do multiple takes. Now it takes me 2 hours to make the same 20, 30, 40-minute video. 2 hours, including editing, which is crazy to me. I got better at doing it, but I'm getting paid more for doing it. I think anybody can adopt this.
Yeah, I think I just want to add, like because I fully agree with everything you said. Do it in a kind way. I want to stress this point because it often gets overlooked, because you should do a lot, you should do it efficient, you should do all those great things, but being kind to other people is a freaking superpower, and we haven't really talked about that, but like being kind to someone else, especially in a world where we see so much violence on Twitter and on social media, it really stands out if you're extremely kind to other human beings. But it's been amazing, Roger. Thank you so much for like making this possible, like hosting the audience here, and being kind of the facilitator and a great speaker here. So I just wanted to say thank you, because it's been my evening round today. It's like 8:30 p.m. at my place today, and it's the perfect ending from me as a day. I will now go out and eat with my girlfriend, and it's been a pleasure sitting with you here and talking Bitcoin.
Absolutely, man. We should do this more often. Maybe we can do something with me, you, Forrest, Jor, and Bram. I feel like that'd be great. I feel like there'd be so much great conversation. There's so much value that we add, and just be awesome.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Cool, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining, Robin. I really appreciate having you here. It made I find it a little difficult continuing to have conversations for like an hour and a half, but with having you here, I mean, really, really made it fly by, really.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours. I'm like, oh shit, like it's already so late.
Absolutely. All right, man, let me end the stream here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. If you want to support the show, you can actually send a Bitcoin payment to that QR code there. I'm trying to make sure that I don't have sponsors on this. I mean, sponsors are perfectly fine. I like not having my opinions swayed by, let's say, talking about something. I think it's perfectly fine to have sponsors, but this is my way of making sure that this show stays sponsor free. So if you want to support the channel, go ahead and send a Bitcoin payment to that QR code. I also have a couple of links in the description. You can book a meeting with me. You can join my community. There's quite a few things. There's more videos on there as well. Go subscribe to Robin. I think that's probably going to be one of the best decisions you make. A daily video, watching long content, people talking about Bitcoin. It's amazing. It's awesome. I love it. And he will not disappoint. His content is great.
Oh, thank you so much, Roger. This is too close. This is too nice of you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, let's end it off here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. There it is. We'll end it off there.